name's Christian Cooper. I'm from the MDes Materials Practice course, which doesn't actually exist anymore. But I'm one of the last of 6 people on the course, so it's, I feel it's a special year for us. We look mainly at sort of materials. We specialise within wood, metal, ceramics and plastics, and I've chosen wood and metal as my main choices. It's a mainly process-led course. We look a lot at the materials, how we can use them, how we can see them in different lights, and we produce craft to artistic to design pieces at the end. And it's a very versatile course, and no one's the same and barely anyone's similar, and I think that drives everyone to produce things which are very different.
And I'm Mylinh Nguyen, and I graduated from MDes Textiles last year, and I specialised in weave, and I started working on the Bridge Research Project in September 2013.
Do you have a passion for design and sustainability?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
How would you describe your passion?
Well, I think it's instinctual to be sustainable because we're not used to, I suppose, destroying what is around us. We're used to maintaining it and using it in proportion. And I think in some modern society we've changed, and that we've decided that we're actually going to destroy all of this stuff which is around us, and so we can develop much quicker. And I think it's just natural to not want that to happen unless you're driven by certain goals which allow that to happen, which I don't think most people are, hopefully. I think most people have a sense.
I guess engaging in new research, new materials, and always kind of trying to keep up to date what's happening.
I think we get excited about the small stuff which nobody ever really gets excited about, but
and seeing what we can do with it.
So you're saying that sustainability is a way of thinking, is something that is a natural state that we've lost track of, that is kind of what this project's doing, is bringing it back to the forefront then?
Yeah, I think when you look at anything and then look at the sustainable version of it, it's actually traditional. It probably backtracks 300-400 years or 1,000 or a couple of thousand years to a process which was wholly sustainable, which was balanced because they didn't have the types of, I suppose, fertilizers that we have nowadays. They don't have the same types of process, so they had to be a little more, I suppose, economical with what they did and used.
And craftsmanship, which I think we try to use a lot in our work. We look at craftsmanship.
I think if anyone saw the real effects of what they did in real time and a real example, then I think they would think twice about throwing a piece of plastic in a bin bag. If they saw the landfill, it would change someone's point of view. But because we're separated from that, we're separated from the end user, we don't actually see that, so we don't care. We don't have to drive every single piece of rubbish to the landfill, so we don't care.
And I think a lot of people are attempting, they're trying to take small steps to at least look into issues of sustainability within their products or their business. So, micro steps at least.
And some of the, I suppose, techniques used by business, because it's obviously people are now buying products just because they're green, and businesses start to pick up on this, so you see a lot of businesses promoting their ethics, but maybe they're not solving the problem, but they are hopefully raising awareness for the problem, which is better than nothing. And yeah, a step in the right direction.
What do you think the Bridge project has done for you, or what impact has the Bridge project had on your work or your thinking or your life, I suppose?
It's helped with networking with your peers. Also, it's kind of the boundaries between being a student and a tutor, they've all kind of disappeared. We're all as one. We all work together, and guess developing ideas of each other as well.
Yeah, the cross disciplines really helps because I didn't really know much about textiles, and now I know a little bit more than I did, and I don't think I would have without Bridge. But
you love the embellisher now.
Yep, professional embellisher, all the little chit-chats me and Tony had. It was really nice to sort of get a completely different point of view. Cross-crits I think are very important to have a critique or a tutorial with someone who is far away from what you're doing, because I think they offer the best ideas for development and where to go.
And also the Bridge Club has been good because it's extracurricular, so there's less pressure, I think, and you can kind of discuss ideas and meet students from other disciplines. Bridge Club is, I suppose, a get-together fortnightly with students, tutors, research assistants from all disciplines really, and it's discussing set topics each fortnight, and we have workshops.
I think that's how I describe it. But I think when you say it to somebody, sometimes they don't think it particularly applies to them, and then you're like, no, honestly, come along. Because I've been trying to get some of the printers, some of the illustration lot to come along, and they're just like, oh, it doesn't apply to me. It's like, but you print on paper, have you ever thought about that? And they're like, oh, well, that's paper, isn't it? And it's like, no, you're not thinking about it, you know. Even if you're not actually being sustainable, you can promote sustainability through your illustrations and work. And I think for some people it really appeals. I think it appeals to everyone. The wording, you kind of word it, really makes them change their opinion.
My role within the Bridge Club has been to help set up with exhibitions. Recently had the Bridge Circus event, symposium exhibition, which I helped set up with Jonathan Swain. So it's getting the curating, getting the designers together and working on the brochure and the promotional side. And then more recently we did the materials research exchange in Coventry, so it was helping setting up a kind of temporary stand which was different to what the other stands had, and I think it had quite a visual impact. It wasn't corporate, it was we had because we come from an art-based, I guess, background, so we had a different take on it, and we had a lot of the other exhibitors come up to us and comment quite positive comments about our stand and how we did utilise our art background and make it visually striking. It's given me a lot of confidence in myself and a lot of time management and what can be done. I guess it's pushed me a lot, I think, in my personal work as well as bridge work.
And then Chris, what's your sort of experience and involvement been? What opportunities and experience have you been involved in?
Well, I'm a student still, so I think my experience is slightly different to Mylin's because there's a lot of my own work, so it's more trying to fit things or change my work towards the bridge. But it's educated me a lot. I've learnt a lot of new skills which I've never thought I'd learn. Like you said, the embellishing, working with the textiles girls. I know a bit about natural dyes now, how to make rope and string. It's really fun stuff, and I think I can transfer them at some point into my own work, which would be really helpful. But we've made more friends, I suppose. We've made friends.
Definitely.
And communication. You know, there's lots of people I see now I never would have said hello to. We got to go to France a couple of times, which was really enjoyable actually, and we made lots of new friends in France, and sometimes they send us little Snapchats, and we still communicate with them, which is really nice, and you know, hopefully we get to see them again at some point. And they're all completely different, and we learn a lot about them and what they do, and it's just so different, and it's nice to see that the project holds these completely different, I suppose, universities under the same umbrella. Maybe some of the reasons why the universities are doing it are more funding based than other universities. I think with ours we've got a very strong passion for it, whilst I think one of the ones we visited, it felt more like they were trying to tick some boxes and get the photos of that happening. But at the end of the day, it's still promoting towards their students who maybe don't know the complete agenda, and they're still being pushed towards being sustainable, and they were thinking about things they never even realised, which kind of to us was second nature. How far did the materials come? And it's not something they've never worried about before, when it's a very obvious question.
So many people involved with it, like you're saying about the corporate world, and there's the art world and the science world and students, there's, you know, all this stuff going on, but it obviously works in some way. I mean, that is the idea of the project. I mean, do you know how it works? Is there anything that you could say about how Bridge joins those dots and makes it happen?
Joan.
It's her, I think, her expertise and her knowledge. She's got a vast the people she knows, and how she can get people together to work on various, I mean, like the Bridge Circus wouldn't really have happened with all the speakers and everyone. Get them all together, yeah, it's incredible. She has a way.
A way,
yeah. We had people from the science department, had people from the Faculty of Arts, we've had green entrepreneurs, young green entrepreneurs, and we had our French partners as well. So it was a mixture, and we put them into categories throughout the day. You participated in the Young Green Entrepreneur part of the symposium. How did you find that?
It was very quick, it was all a blur. And I think I spoke about the wrong thing. But no, it was really interesting to bring some ex-students, some current students, and some people with, I suppose, successful startup businesses together, and sort of ask a few questions about ecology, sustainability, as well as the financial and economical situations, which was really, I suppose, quite interesting. And James and Elia's stuff, you know, they're on to the next level now, and it's always interesting to hear about where they're going and where sort of the new up-and-coming designers will be going as well.
Yeah, and that's what was good about the Bridge Circus exhibition, the True Value of Materials, because we had students, current students, alumni students, and as well as tutors showing their work all together, and as well as other artists that we had from around the country, the southeast. So yeah, it was interesting.
A lot of people commented on the fact that the students were able to show next to the tutors, and I think that's a very important thing, because that shows a real community and collaboration together, which I think is really important for the self-worth of each other, I suppose, as well as appearing really nice together. I understand the way things slightly work a little bit more than they did before, because within this sort of world of artistry, trips, meetings, business, funding, and kind of the whole umbrella which it sits under, I've never really delved into that. I've seen very one-sided areas of that, and to see how each person has a very, very different role that actually manages to work together pretty damn well, it's really good.
Yeah, and I think the transition from student to employee of the university, I don't know, I've seen how the university works as well. There's a different side to it, and I don't know, and I've also learned the value of networking. That's very, very important, I think, especially in things like the symposiums, the conferences. I hope to continue working in research with materials, and also put my own design work into practice as well. That's my future, I think. Forecast for the 5 years. You?
Professional plan. I'm not wholly sure at the moment. I think education would be interesting for a bit longer, but also interning and getting the experience is very, very valuable too. So I suppose I haven't quite got a certain future, even though my future starts.
Anything could happen to you after you graduate.
3 months,
could just be like that. Could get snapped up.
Probably working for the money for a little bit. I wouldn't mind going on to do a full master's or a PhD, which I think would be really, a really good chance to develop myself more as a, I suppose, as a designer. Yeah.
The Bridge community is a very welcoming community, and you can come in, you can try, and I don't know, there's nothing to be afraid of really. If you don't like it, you can leave, there's no obligation to stay.
They have cookies.
Yeah, there's always cookies.
Sometimes wine. Well, it's an hour and a half of your life every 2 weeks, and it's something which definitely does affect you, whether you want to believe it or not. It does affect you. And
you definitely, every time you go to the Bridge Club, you will take something out of it, whether you realise it or not. Be it a new friend or some knowledge. I think Bridge has given me confidence in my ability as a graduate now, I guess. From student to graduate. It's helped me with the transition.
Bridge has offered me a lot of opportunities I wouldn't have been able to have if I wasn't a part of the group. It's shown me a new way of learning and how we can learn with different people with different skills, and it's taught me how to take something completely random, off subject and off key, and incorporate it into my work to create something which is deeper in meaning, and also usually has a natural positive effect on the stuff I'm thinking about. Instead of thinking about certain materials, it can change my idea to maybe use a waste material which is just as good as the original material but I'd never thought of. But you don't know until someone tells you, this is our waste, this is what we do with it, that you actually realise, oh no, this is completely usable in my work. So yeah, it's expanded my little bubble.
Bridge has given me confidence in my abilities, my skills, and it's nurtured me from the transition from student to graduate, and I don't know, it's allowed me to expand on my knowledge of sustainable materials and to work with a mixture of people from all cross disciplines. Yeah, and it's allowed me to meet new people, make new friends. Friends. Sorry.
The fade out with the credits. Friends.